Good morning, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, and the rest of the world. You've tuned in to the Mac City Morning Show. I am your host, Elliott Pierre, and we're going to start the show off the same way we start every show off, with a moment of gratitude. I know you could be doing a million other things with your time, and the fact that you're choosing to spend it with us truly does mean the world to me. On that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
How's she cotton, me loves? You're listening to the Mac City Morning Show.
All right, I'm excited about today's episode because we're going to be talking about books and young children books. And at the table, Tanner will hit you up with the camera angle there. I've read a number of these books to my child, my little boy Keegan, when he was a few years younger, and he was a part of this program. So I'm excited to chat about it, spread the word about it, and hopefully a bunch of parents are watching this and they can get these books for their children. So as you guys all know, I do not introduce my guests. I let them do that themselves. So on that note, can you please introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and what you're about?
Thank you for having me. I'm Julianne North Bourque. I moved here 15 years ago in May.
Okay.
I came up the first time to humor my husband to see this place that the way the news portrays it is a horrible place, and fell in love. So then I moved up, and we're raising two beautiful children here, and I just love the community.
Nice.
Yes.
Right on. And so you moved up here 15 years ago. Where did you move from?
Fredericton, New Brunswick.
Oh, I liked Fredericton.
Mm-hmm. It's
Beautiful.
It was a hard place to leave.
No doubt.
Yeah.
The thing I like about Fredericton is like the homes are historical homes. You have like some beautiful Victorian style homes with like the porches in front.
My parents have a nice one.
Do they?
Yeah, right downtown.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in Fredericton.
So it sounds kind of crazy. This reminds me a bit of the River Valley and stuff.
Right.
Without the houses.
That's right. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
No, it's so nice. And what I liked about it when I visited, because I've been there a number of times for recruiting. I used to go there for recruitment drives.
Yeah.
It's got a younger community as well in regards to like you have like the colleges and the universities, but you also have like a lot of industry that's there as well. So it's a very interesting kind of mix.
A lot of neat different things, yeah.
Yeah.
My parents have a bookstore there too, which I worked in 20 years before I came out here, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
I've always had a love of reading.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about these books though. So tell everybody at home what's this about. What are these books here that we're looking at?
So years ago, Dolly Parton wanted to be able to give back to her community, and she was trying to figure out, like, you can't always throw money at a problem.
Right.
What would be the biggest thing to help her very poor coal mining town that had disappeared? And so, doing the research, getting kids set up for school is one of the best things, and reading to them just 15 minutes a day would do that. So she started in her program. She funds all the kids around that area in Tennessee, and then everybody else wanted to do it. And she's like, well, I can't afford everybody, so they came up with this system that all you have to do is pay for book and mailing, and then we just promote it. And now, currently, the Dollywood Foundation, they send over 2 million books a month to 5 different countries.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy.
So when we heard about this, I was pregnant with my first child, and it just clicked to me because I was like, I worked in a bookstore for 20 years, and I used to see people come in from the library with their bags of books, and they'd get treats, and those who read a lot, and then I'd see them in the paper. They were the ones getting the scholarships, head of the sports teams, and everything else. I'm like, there's something to this. Like,
That's right.
the families that read the kids seem to have a lot of success. Reading to your child, they get larger vocabulary, able to express their emotions, good self-esteem, and then you develop a really good caregiver-child bond.
That's right.
Which helps, reduces stress and also helps them to be able to learn better.
That's right.
So it made sense. I was at the Rotary Club at Fort McMurray, and there was about 20 of us, and we worked hard to bring it to the program here. And so it started in the rural area in 2010, and then in the community here in 2012.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, but it's not going through Rotary anymore.
No, in March, we started our own Imagination Library Wood Buffalo Foundation.
Okay.
And just so we can focus on this.
Okay.
And we just look after this, promoting it and making sure there's enough funding. It's free to all families. Each child gets a free age-appropriate book. As you can see from the books there, the very first one everyone gets is The Little Engine That Could.
Right.
Our last one is Look Out Kindergarten, Here I Come. And in between, they're always changing, and then they're age-appropriate.
Yeah.
So they grow with the child.
Right.
And they get mailed, well, it used to be to their door, but to their mailbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you'd have a potential up to 60 books if you could get there from birth to
That's right.
to turning 5. And Yeah, and kids love books, and
Yeah.
you read to them, and that's how they learn, is that repetition of reading it over for the 50th time.
That's right. Yep.
We begrudge it sometimes, but
Yeah.
that's how the kids learn, and they
That's
love it.
That's right.
Yeah.
I have all 60.
Awesome.
Yeah. My young child Keegan, we started from day one, got him the books. He loves it.
Yeah.
It was kind of crazy to me, honestly. When I grew up, like my parents read to me every night. It was just that was just part of like the routine.
Yep.
And so when I had my child, like we did the exact same thing. We read to him every night, and his vocabulary grew very quickly. He learned to talk very fast, a little bit too fast for my liking, to be honest with you. But some parents would say like, "Oh my gosh, you must read to your child every night." And I was kind of flabbergasted. I was like, "Yeah,
Doesn't
like,
everybody?
I thought that was what you were supposed to do." But like you said, not everybody has access to the books, and books aren't cheap by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
So yeah, a program like this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Well, we did a town hall meeting with a lot of stakeholders in the community, and there was a multiple reasons that they're like, yes, if you can bring this program here, benefit. Like, we're a very fast-paced town, as you know.
Yeah.
So like to get to different things and do all that, it's hard. This way, it comes to the house. The kids are like, hey, I got mail today.
That's
Let's
right.
read my book. So that was one of the big ones.
Yeah.
A lot of people up here don't always necessarily value education. They
That's right.
came because their industry died and they had to move. And so this way, like, at least if it's here, the kids sort of push, like, read to me, and then they will do better in school. We have
right.
a lot of people here. We're our most diverse community per capita outside of
Yes.
Toronto.
100%.
English is not always the first language at home, so this is another thing that helps,
Right.
right?
That's
And
right.
and especially for rural area, it's really hard to deliver a lot of programs into the rural area. We go from Fort Fitzgerald, all the way down to Conklin.
That's awesome.
So very few places are able to do that, and it's all done by postal code.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, in regards to, we know what the program is. You can get a book. The kids love it. I can tell you, Keegan, when he got his little package in the mail, he loved it. But obviously, everybody can get involved, but this is not cheap to facilitate. So, how can people help with what you're doing? May it be through volunteering. I know COVID makes that a little bit challenging, but potentially even do you guys need money at some points in time? Like, how does this work? How can people help you?
We do. So currently we had a budget this year for 2,500 kids
Okay.
for the full year. And actually it's quite cheap. The books are $3.55 mailed to the house. I mean, I don't know how they do it that cheap. I guess it's obviously
Buy in bulk.
economies of scale, right?
All right.
And then we just promote it. And we work with a lot of different partnerships to kind of make sure that the people who could use these books are getting them. 2 new partnerships that we're working really closely with Athabasca Tribal Council. They're going to make sure that all their groups that they service are making sure that they're signed up for the books and getting that.
Okay.
The other one is working with the Multicultural Association.
Phenomenal.
They've got 3 different programs that they work with too to make sure that a lot of the families are getting them, if maybe language may be a barrier, or they're newcomers to the community, and make sure they get signed up right away for it.
Right.
We've worked for years with the Wood Buffalo Regional Library.
Yep.
They've been great partners with us, and now they're going to be sending out, graduate letters when the kids graduate. So they say, hey, the fun doesn't have to stop here. We've got a whole world of books here,
Yeah.
many, many titles, and this is where you can come in and get all these different other resources. So
Okay.
yeah, so
Good.
that certainly helps with the promotion, so we can do that relatively cheap.
Right.
But yeah, our budget for the year is $106,500, which
Okay.
I know it's a lot of money, but it's,
Yeah.
2,500 families getting a book a month
That's
for
huge.
an entire year.
It's
That's
huge.
really, it's low cost for high impact.
You just took the words out of my mouth. High impact.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Reading in general, it's the corner block for everything. If you struggle with reading, you struggle with every subject you have to take, even with math, because you got to read those problems. Science, language arts, social. If you're struggling with that foundational block, it makes everything more challenging.
Yeah. Even in operational manual to work equipment or anything
right.
else like that, reading is the key to life. I
Yep.
mean, it's,
Yep.
yeah, obviously the stronger the kids are starting off, you don't want them to be struggling right away because it's almost like they're behind the 8 ball.
That's right.
And I know in the States, I don't like to think this in Canada, but in the States, they really check the reading levels of grade 3 students
Okay.
to see how many prisons they need.
Okay.
Because if kids are struggling, it's really hard after grade 3 for them to get caught up, unless they have a lot of intervention.
Right.
And, by junior high, high school, these kids are turning to a very different road
That's right.
because they don't want to be there. They're
That's
just
right.
frustrated. And,
That's right.
And so, if you want a strong community with, a good workforce and really educated-minded people, It starts early.
Read to your kids.
Yeah, read to
gotta
your kids
do it.
15 minutes a day.
There you go.
Yeah.
So let's stick on the topic of books, but let's put the spotlight on yourself. What kind of books do you like to read?
Oh, I run the gamut. But I think my biggest would be historical fiction. I've
Okay.
always been more so the fact, like Diana Gabaldon, Outlander, Anna Green Gables was one of my very first, Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah.
I loved
Okay.
a lot of those. But I do biographies.
Okay.
I think textbooks in school were the only ones that I had trouble reading.
Yeah, you didn't like those ones. They're
They
boring.
were so dry.
Yeah.
They were awesome. They had all the answers in the back.
Yeah.
Well,
that
to
is
get older,
true.
they did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. Good call, Tanner. Yeah, I like reading, but I've switched over to audiobooks.
Oh, yeah.
I like listening because for two reasons. One, it allows me to like run on my treadmill and
Yep.
like actually accomplish something physical, but then listen to what I'm reading. Or like when I'm driving like down the highway, down to Edmonton or Calgary when you're allowed to. Like I think driving those long distances is such a waste of time. Like I can get something out of it
Yes.
by like listening to a book and digesting some knowledge.
I've been thinking of trying to listen to more podcasts too. I've had trouble in the past with audiobooks because I think I'm doing something else in my mind. Kind of scurries.
you're
And then I'm
yeah.
like, what the heck happened?
What happened? Right. Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what that says about my brain.
That's
but,
right.
Yeah.
I also like, my voice is boring. Like, I like to
don't think
hear other people narrate the book, especially with some of, like, the biographies. Like, we have Matt McConaughey's autobiography up there. And to have him read the book in his own words, it, like, brings it alive a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Instead of just my voice listening to it.
Yeah.
But what I've been trying to do, because like monkey see, monkey does, like your children just copy what you do. Me just having my headphones in and like listening isn't really showcasing Keegan, that's my little boy, what I'm doing.
Yep.
I tell him I'm listening to a book, but he's like, yeah, okay. So what I've been trying to do is like actually get back into the habit of picking up like a book and having him see me read it.
And that is a huge thing in modeling that behavior and showing men reading.
Yeah.
So many men do not read, and so a lot of little boys grow up and thinking that
Yeah.
it's not something you do. And
You don't need to
that
call
needs
me
to
out
change.
like this.
No, it's very true. It's very true. So,
So thank
yeah,
you.
it's a big thing. But yeah, this program that you do is phenomenal. So you worked at a bookstore, family bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
Still operational?
It is one of the last few independents, still going strong.
So what's it called? Let's promote them a
Westminster
bit.
Books.
Westminster Books.
Yeah, Westminster Books. Yep.
In Fredericton,
Yep.
New Brunswick.
Yep.
Okay.
On York Street. Yeah.
On York Street. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I think I've
Downtown.
actually been to this
You
place.
probably did. It used to be on King Street. They just moved a couple of years ago. I was able to help them move there
Yeah.
the year before the pandemic. hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 I think I've been to this bookstore.
Probably. Yeah.
In a previous life, years and years and years ago, I used to be in human resources. And early in my career, I was actually a recruiter for a company at the time called Eveready. They're called Clean Harbors now.
Okay. Yeah.
Back trucks, water trucks, so on and so forth. So I'd be on the road for months on end. And so what I would end up doing is going into bookstores and purchasing books. Now, my biggest regret of all this is because I was on the road so much and books are heavy, is after I finished reading a book, I would leave it in the hotel.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so hopefully somebody else, like I wouldn't leave it in my room. I'd take it down to the staff and be like, here,
Yep.
you must have a library or something, or you can take it. I don't care. But I've left thousands of dollars of books just scattered. So I hopefully paying it forward. Hopefully somebody read it and got something out of it.
Yep.
But I have like a little library at home where I keep all my books. And so I'm like, man, I should have kept those books to put the library together.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, I love looking at bookstores, and it's very neat. So many of them are different. Like, I've
how did
been
your
in so
parents
many
get
all of
into
them.
it?
It was funny. My uncle started it,
Okay.
and they realized they liked big city life, so they moved back to Ontario.
Okay.
And so my parents and another couple bought it, and it used to be quite small, and then it grew and
Yeah.
grew, and so I ended up working there part time when I was younger, and then I got to the point where I was assistant manager and did the book buying. So I bought mostly the children's books for
Okay.
10 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that.
Very
that's-
cool. I think now more than ever, an independent store actually has a shot of making it.
Yes.
Because even in Edmonton, I saw like on White Avenue, Chapters closed down, and there's a Winners now, and where the Chapters used to be.
Yeah.
So, because more people are gravitating to like online, like I get it. It's
Yep.
the way we're moving. But you can't beat the interaction with people.
The big thing with an independent bookstore is a lot of times they're very committed to their store and they can hand sell you a book. They
That's
know your
right.
taste. They know what they've got in there.
Yeah.
Where a lot of time the box store, it's
Yeah.
just whoever just working a job and they're not really necessarily readers or so.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, you're seeing not just in the book industry, but a lot of niche. That's what's making it happen now, or making it work, is in regards to people who are like handcrafting, making things, who are a part of the community. The community will reach out and support them more so than a box store that they can get that product online.
Yep.
So hopefully that family bookstore stays open forever. That's
Yes,
cool.
I think my parents would like to sell it at some point and retire.
That's
but
right.
They're still going strong, and
Good for them.
yeah, it's a good story.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, we got to throw you over to Tanner.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've seen the show before, but we have a segment called the Mac City Minute.
Yep.
It's Tanner's segment. He's going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
Tanner, hit her up with the Mac City Minute.
All right, question number 1. What was your favorite book you read as a child?
There's so many. Goodnight Moon, I think, is one of them, though. That's an old classic,
Yep.
probably that's stuck with me, which I've read to my children since.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question number 2. What is your favorite part of reading to your children?
The connection and bond, them looking forward to that, getting ready for bed, and can we read one more?
Yeah.
That's a nice experience for them to grow up with.
Question number 3. What is the most important reason for a kid to be into reading?
Reading is part of your life. It just the more they do it, the stronger they are at it. The faster they can read, and then that's just one less thing they don't have to worry about. They just can work on the concept after that. So the earlier they can master that, then the more confidence they'll have.
Question number 4. What is one book or author that influences your day-to-day life?
All of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't narrow that down. Actually, I've read a lot of books. So yeah, they all you take a little piece away from all of them, right? So.
And your final question, what is your favorite memory from working at your family bookstore?
Oh, meeting a lot of the different authors coming through and stuff like that. That was pretty neat. Yeah.
And those have been your 5 questions.
That would be
Excellent, Thank you.
cool.
Yeah, we get to meet a lot of different people. Did
Yeah.
author breakfast and stuff. So
Nice.
yeah, that's fun.
There's one author it'd be so interested. He's such a quirky guy. Bryson.
Oh yes.
He writes some amazing books.
Yeah.
And he's like a traveler. You've probably read one or two of
Yes.
his books.
I'm drawing a blank on the titles. But,
Neither Here Nor There is one. A Walk in the Woods
yes.
is I think his most famous one.
That's
It
the
got-
Appalachian Trail book, isn't it?
Yes,
yeah.
it got adapted into a movie with Ron. I forget the actor's name. I'm bad with people's names, but
Yeah.
it got made into a movie. His books, and he's an older gentleman,
Mm-hmm.
and so you wouldn't think about him being like so adventurous, but his books, like he paint. That's the one thing about books; they just paint such a beautiful picture.
Yes.
And like I love to digest content. Like I'm a big visual learner. But before I see, like if I know there's a book and they've made a movie, you gotta look at the book first,
Every time you got to do it. Yep.
because the movie is always going to disappoint you.
Yep. Very rarely have they. Like, have you ever seen Prayer for Owen Meany?
No.
Or the book is amazing.
Right.
And they did the movie called Simon Birch.
Okay.
And the movie does stand alone on its own,
Really?
but it's not as good. I mean,
Okay.
the book is amazing, but
Yeah.
the movie actually is
Did an
different
okay
and
job.
good. Yeah.
Okay.
So why do you have to read the book if you're just going to be disappointed in the movie afterwards?
Well, that's the thing. Like the movie could be really good, but then when you read the book, it's just so much
If you've
richer.
seen any of the Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
movies, there's so much more detail
Oh.
you catch by reading the book.
Well, why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you just enjoy both? Why wouldn't you see the movie first, enjoy it, and then read the book and then be double enjoy?
Because like once you go back, like once you know what's happening, and if you've seen the movie first, for me, I'm only speaking for me, everybody home, before I get a bunch of hate mail. For me, once I watch the movie, like I already know what's happening in the book, and then I don't have the patience to go through it. Because when you invest the time to read a book, you're talking hours, days, weeks, depending on the book. But the Lord of the Rings, oh my goodness, they are so good, and so I'm a baby. I don't like scary things.
Yeah.
And the Lord of the Rings I read it when I was in my 20s when I was going through college. It used to be so scary that I would read it down on my couch, and I was like, yeah, I'm not making it to the bedroom tonight. I'm sleeping on the couch. Like, that's how impactful like some books are. I've been really disappointed with some movies that have been adapted into books.
Yeah. No, I must admit,
Or
I've seen some of the
other way
Stephen
around.
King movies.
Right.
Would not touch the book because they already freaked me out.
That's
enough.
right. So you know that book is really gonna.
Yeah.
There was one in particular. It's a good the book is so groundbreaking. I don't know if you've read it. Ready Player One.
No.
Oh my goodness, it's a science fiction book, but you could see how very easily that could become our future. And then they turned it into a movie. Steven Spielberg actually made the movie, and from a visual aspect, it's beautiful.
Oh, neat.
But it's the first movie from a book that I've read that is completely different. Like, it's not even, the characters don't even, like, it doesn't even, you shouldn't even be able to call it the same thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. But because the book was literally that groundbreaking. So, yeah. Anyways, on that note, we're done. 20 minutes flew by. Game
Did
over.
it ever? Wow.
Yeah. So before you leave, though, I want to say thank you for coming
Thank
on the
you.
show.
Yeah.
As many times as you want.
I'm going to try to get some of the other board members too. That was
Yes.
something I forgot to mention. I wanted to mention about the volunteers.
Please go. Yeah.
We're totally volunteer. We're just all passionate about literacy. So our
Okay.
board is all volunteers, and all we do is raise money for books and mailing.
That's awesome.
So we just, social media can be done fairly cheap and all
Yeah.
this other stuff. So we work on a very tiny budget.
Okay.
And just raise money for books. So so right now we're actually looking for a social media manager, to someone help us out with Facebook and different things. So we're hoping to do a golf tournament again later. That was a good fundraiser for us.
Okay.
And at some point we'd like to do a storybook breakfast,
Okay.
which a lot of communities will do to raise money. And you get a lot of the book characters there, and the kids get to see them and
Cool.
get their autographs and have a pancake breakfast.
That's
So
awesome. Good.
those are things hopefully that will happen in 2022.
Sweet.
But so we're always looking for volunteers just to spread the word and help out with some of our projects. And,
There we go.
Yeah.
You just segued into what I was going to tell you. Shameless plug. This is your time at the end of the episode, so you just did it. Good.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah. So yeah, please tell your board members to come back. You come back. Any way we can help and support and get your message out, we would love to do it. I think it's a crucial endeavor. I know how important it is for children to learn how to read, because it's a struggle when you can't. So please, please, please take me up on my offer. Come back as many times as you want.
We will do that. Thank you very much for having us.
Cool. All right. On that note, Fort McMurray, Wood Buffalo, that is another episode of the Mac City Morning Show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you're having a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.
I just I said this. That's another Mac City Morning Show done.
It's so ballistic!
Talk about quenching your ugly thirst.